Let's talk about a question many people quietly wonder about, but rarely see explained clearly. How does Prince Andrew fund his life today? In recent years, his public role within the royal family has changed significantly. Official duties were reduced, military titles were removed, patronages were reassigned, public appearances became limited. The shift was not subtle, it was structural. And whenever a structural shift happens inside an institution, as historic as the British monarchy, practical questions naturally follow. Without an active public role, how does a senior royal maintain their lifestyle? To understand that, we first need to step back and understand how royal finances actually work, because they are often misunderstood. The British monarchy does not operate like a corporation, nor does it function like a celebrity brand built on sponsorships and endorsements. Instead, it exists within a centuries-old financial framework built from a mix of public funding, private estates, inherited assets, and internal family arrangements. At the center of public funding is the sovereign grant. The sovereign grant is taxpayer-funded support allocated to cover the official duties of the monarch and working members of the royal family. It helps fund state events, official travel, staff salaries, and maintenance of properties used for official purposes. However, the sovereign grant is specifically tied to working royals performing official functions. When official roles are reduced or removed, that funding structure may also shift. That is where complexity begins. Beyond public funding, there are private estates that generate independent revenue. The Duchy of Lancaster provides income to the reigning monarch. The Duchy of Cornwall traditionally provides income to the heir to the throne. These duchies are not government departments. They are private landed estates consisting of farmland, commercial properties, residential real estate, and long-term investments. They generate revenue annually through rents, leases, agricultural production, and property development. While those funds are structured for specific royal roles, the broader royal family often exists within a network of shared financial stability connected to generational wealth. Then there is personal wealth. Members of the royal family may receive inheritances from family members. They may hold private investment portfolios. They may own property or assets acquired over decades. Unlike publicly traded companies, these personal financial arrangements are not fully itemized for public review, and that lack of visibility often leads to speculation. But speculation is not the same as verified information. Another major factor is housing. Royal residences are not typical homes. They are historic properties requiring constant maintenance, restoration, staffing, security infrastructure, and operational oversight. Even if a royal steps back from public life, the physical property itself still exists, and it still requires funding. Heating, restoration, landscaping, staff management, insurance, and structural upkeep do not disappear when public appearances decline. Then there is security. Security for senior royals is not optional. It is risk-assessed and professionally managed. It can involve close protection officers, intelligence coordination, secure transport, travel planning, and 24-hour monitoring systems. These services can cost millions annually. When someone transitions away from an official working role, determining who funds that protection can become a matter of legal, governmental, and institutional review. Is it privately funded, state-funded, shared, scaled down? Those details are rarely simple. It's also important to understand that royal finances are layered across generations. Assets are not built in a single lifetime. They are structured through trusts, estates, and long-term investment vehicles designed to preserve institutional continuity. This means funding decisions are rarely about a single year. They are about decades. Critics argue that in a modern democratic society, public transparency should increase alongside public funding. They question whether financial clarity should be expanded when taxpayer money is involved. Supporters of the monarchy counter that institutional stability depends on structured privacy and long-standing constitutional arrangements. They argue that the monarchy's financial framework has evolved gradually over centuries, not overnight. At the center of this discussion is not just one individual. It is a broader constitutional question. What happens when a royal's public role changes, but their historical position, inherited assets, and security considerations remain? Does the institution internally redistribute support? Does private wealth absorb the adjustment? Or does a hybrid structure quietly continue behind the scenes? These are not tabloid questions. They are governance questions. Because monarchy at its core is an institutional system, one built on land ownership, structured income streams, ceremonial responsibilities, and constitutional boundaries. And when one part of that system shifts, the ripple effects are financial as well as symbolic. In today's digital age, scrutiny is immediate. Every funding arrangement, every housing situation, every security discussion becomes part of a larger public conversation about accountability. Transparency has become a defining expectation of modern governance. Yet tradition remains a defining feature of monarchy. And balancing those two forces, transparency and tradition, is not simple. So when people ask how Prince Andrew funds his life today, the answer is not a single line. It is a layered combination of institutional history, estate revenue, family wealth structures, property considerations, and security realities. It is less about headlines and more about systems. And as long as public institutions intersect with public funding, these questions will continue. Because in the 21st century, legacy alone is no longer enough. Understanding structure matters, understanding funding matters, and understanding how historic institutions adapt to modern expectations matters even more. If you're interested in thoughtful breakdowns of how royal systems operate beyond the headlines, make sure to subscribe for more in-depth analysis. And let us know in the comments, should financial transparency within constitutional monarchies increase in the modern era? Thanks for watching.